Hello and welcome to another episode of Heroes by the Pint. We are the nerd life talking, craft beer drinking, superhero vigilantes here to rescue each and every one of you from bland beer and dull comics. We are the glassy-eyed geeks and we invite you to grab something cold in a bottle or can and crack it open and enjoy it with us. I'm your host, Matthew Ellis. Joining me is Marcus Stevenson.
Giddy up.
That's right. And we are super fortunate to be sitting down with Tom of Mannered Brewing. They are located at 30 Grace Drive in Powell, Ohio. If you want to get a hold of them by phone, you can reach them at 614-859-6819. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Welcome to Mannered.
That's all. Dude, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for sitting down with us.
No problem. Good to have you guys.
That's right. You had to get a babysitter, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mandy.
Right. He saw this ragtag crew show up, and he's like, bad choice.
What'd you say? Thanks who?
Mandy.
To Mandy.
To Mandy. That's right. If the people out there in the World Wide Web want to find you, social media, website, how do they do that?
You can start with our website's illmanneredbeer.com, and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram are all Ill-Mannered Beer, so it's pretty straightforward.
Perfect. Yeah, we would urge everyone to get a hold of them, track them down on any social media format, and head over to their website. They got some great merch. I am rocking the Ill-Mannered beanie.
I am not.
The pom-pom beanie and the shirt representing. And, yeah, we're super excited to be sitting down with you guys and with you. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We'd also like to urge everybody out there listening to head over to heroesbythepint.com. Support us any way you can. You can also find us on any social media format at Heroes by the Pint. And we would love for you to leave us with a 5-star review and hit subscribe on any podcast streaming service that you prefer.
Please.
All right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, getting started. So why don't you tell us a little bit background? How long you been brewing? What got you into it? What's
Sure.
The origin story.
That's
The
right.
origin, nice.
This
All
is
right.
issue 00.
Oh,
Great.
wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. What beers are we drinking?
All right, you're drinking. Both of you are drinking Flat Black. It's our newest American stout.
Black.
Actually, releases here in the tap room tomorrow. So you're getting a sneak preview here.
Flat Black. It's a little more robust than flat, buddy. It is
it's
good.
Very robust. It is hugely roasty, very citrus, floral with the hop flavors in there.
Mm-hmm.
Full-bodied, obviously black. So it's a typical but American stout with a little bit of a ill-mannered flair to it. And I'm drinking the Ill Monk. It's our Belgian double. Kind of stylistically on point for a Belgian double. It's stone fruit, cherries, raisins, full-bodied. Finished with Belgian candy sugar. Nice, beautiful amber color. And 7.7%. Yours clocks in at 7.2%.
Nice.
So,
Man, stone fruit cherries.
That's right.
Sounds like heaven.
Yeah, if I'm going to hit it with a beer cap rating, follow us over on Untapped. Once again, Heroes by the Pint. Yeah, man, I'm hitting it with a 4.5. I'm not usually
Nice.
into like dark kind of beers like this, but man, super good, super smooth, and really drinkable.
thank you.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4.52. It is smooth. I like it because it is smooth. And when it hits the lips,
So good. All right, yeah. So let's jump into that origin story, man. How long you been brewing? What kitchen? What apartment kitchen did you get started in?
Started my kitchen. I don't know. It's been a while now. 8-9 years ago. The brewery's been operating for 2.5 years. So we're coming up on 3 years in August.
That's something to celebrate, man.
We're pretty excited. We're going to celebrate with a brand new building.
Yeah.
But we started. There's 4 of us: Greg, Ryan, Brian, and then myself. All own this place. We all homebrewed together, and decided that it would be really fun to try and do it professionally. I had always wanted to own my own business for years and years and years.
That's
Didn't know
great.
what I wanted to do. Fell in love with brewing beer. Fell in love with the science behind it, the artistic side, the creativity. I think a lot of us tell that same story. So got super pumped up about planning a brewery. Along came all 4 of us together in the end to kind of actually pull this thing together.
Had you guys been like friends previously,
Oh,
or like
yeah. I mean, I've
how'd
known-
that home brewing start? Like,
Well, I've known Greg for like over 30 years.
Okay. Okay.
So like way back to when we were about 5.
yeah,
Went to grad school with Brian, and then we all met Ryan kind of homebrewing along the way.
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's a pretty good group. We all got varied backgrounds, so it works out really well for how we pulled this off. Now I do I'm the head brewer here now. This is my full-time gig. Quit the day job almost 2 years ago now.
Wow.
And
Applause.
yeah,
There will be applause track.
Right,
there.
right.
Good.
That's like diving right in, man. You've
That's
only
right.
been open 2.5 years, and
That's
half a
right.
year in, you're like, fuck it.
Well, by that
Yep.
that point, you've been doing it forever because you're planning it, you're going
Right,
through all the process,
right.
opening it, and you're like, all right, let's do this.
What were you doing before?
I worked for a private aviation company doing like brand placement on board the aircraft.
Wow, that's
So
okay.
translation, I bought booze and snacks.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
I remember coming in here at one point, and you guys had a T-shirt, I believe it was, that said, "I can't believe it. We've made it a year."
Yeah, that's right. That was our first anniversary.
So you have a sense
Sure.
of humor.
That's
All
right.
Yeah.
You have to in this industry. Like it's a great industry, but you have your ups and downs, and you got to have a good time with it. So that was our first year anniversary shirt. Holy shit, we made it a year. And then second year was we made it 2 years. Are you ready for another round or something like that? And then it said "Hold my beer" at the bottom of it. So we're trying to come up with something new every year because who wants the same anniversary shirt over and over and over
Right.
again with a new number on it?
Yeah.
So stay tuned for year 3. We'll start working on that before too long.
Yeah,
So-
I got to say, man, you guys are brewing some top-notch beers. You just pushed out your hazy IPA, and you said that thing was flying off the shelves. Participation trophy,
That's
which,
right. Yeah.
sadly enough, I've won a few of those in my life.
So stay tuned. Participation trophy flew off the shelves. We're already working on a couple of other ones in the works, and to come out next month, I think we'll come out with another one. Of course, trophy will be made again. That was our second time we made it. It was actually a 2-year anniversary release. We always do interesting stuff and new releases for the anniversary, 4 or 5 at each of the parties.
So how do you plan those out? Like when you're thinking about like a calendar year, or if you even think about it in a calendar year,
Sure.
like how do you think about your releases?
So for anniversary releases, some of those require a lot of planning because it's barrel aged. So we'll put stuff in a barrel up to a year out. Last year we released a Russian Imperial Stout. It had been in a barrel for about 10 or 11 months. So yeah, that stuff, if we want to release it at a specific point, obviously we plan it. A lot of the times though, with barrel aged beers, it gets released when the beer's ready.
Right.
So you kind of taste it along the ways. You have these little. There's a nail in the barrel that you pull out. It's called a Vinny nail, and you pull it out and you get a little sample and taste it, and once a month check it or however so often, and when it's ready it comes out, and then you drink it. That's the fun part.
Just
So
like a Cabbage Patch Kid.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, man, it sounds like you guys put in a lot of work getting started. As far as the brainchild and everything, I mean, was it just like terrifying initially to get this going? Because I can't imagine like the amount of prep and the financial aspect of it and everything that kind of
Sure.
just to get going.
It's a ton of work, but it's a labor of love for sure. It took us a year from concept to open, which is relatively quick. It went reasonably smoothly, so we can't complain too much. Granted, we're on the smaller side of things, so that really helped in terms of keeping things relatively conservative and growing organically. Has always been our business model from the start. So we started, the 4 of us, and we continue to operate and growing it from the company. Like, we don't seek outside investors and stuff like that. So this is, everything here is ill-mannered. Like,
I mean, like Kevin Costner said, man, if you brew it, they will come.
That's
I mean,
right.
that's like the bottom line. If you got good beer in a nice spot, like
Yep.
people are going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you guys could see this place. Like, so like,
They can.
Well,
Some of it.
Yeah,
They can.
I mean, it's
Well, to be fair, they're looking at like at least half of it right now.
good call. Okay. The design aesthetic's pretty cool. Like, to the right of us, there's a lot of like glassware, pint glasses, but like, what's up with that?
So up there we have what we call our Groundbreakers Club.
Oh,
It was our alternatives Kickstarter, essentially.
okay.
So we have those mugs. They're all hand-blown glass mugs by an artist here in Columbus named Joseph Wyman. He did every one of those individually. They're all unique, completely. There's none are the same, and they don't exist anywhere else. So there's about 70 of them up there.
Nice.
And so we sold those to, friends, families, and fools. Before we opened, to raise a few extra bucks, to buy some nice toys that we wanted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
What-
See, you're learning about on this podcast. You learn about comics, brews, glass blowing. Like, we got it covered.
That's right. That's right. How to start up a business, small business, how to
Yeah.
get everything moving.
it was really cool. We went to his place and watched him do one of the mugs when we were kind of. Hate to use the word interviewing, but we saw several glass blowers.
Sure.
Because this is essentially a commissioned piece of art. Because those things are not cheap. So we went and saw it. It was the coolest thing. I've never seen it done before, and I'm like, yeah, you're good. So
You guys
La-
got to come in and check it out.
Last time Marcus went out to interview people and watched them blow, it was a much different story than that, but
70s, dude. It's a long time ago.
what are some of the other local breweries around town that kind of inspired you and kind of really still to this day push you to kind of keep striving to make a better product for your customers?
Well, I mean, we have a few really good friends in the industry. Of course, Frank up at Restoration, who you guys had already met with. Frank's a great guy. We have a nice, friendly rivalry with him.
Like
Yeah.
the Sharks and Jets in West Side Story.
That's right. That's right.
I just imagine you guys walking.
I just hit them up. Restoration, they have like Nacho Wednesday or something. So they posted a picture of Nacho Libre. And I was like, man, Frank is looking pretty good. I was just thinking Big Frank dressed up
Yeah,
as Nacho
nice.
Libre.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Big Frank's a great guy. Restoration
He's a good
crew's
dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike at Lineage and Craig at Sideswiped. Those are all good friends of ours. Have a great time with them. It would not be an appropriate podcast if we didn't remember or mention what Columbus Brewing Company is doing for craft beer scenes from way back when.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some delicious beer there. The same thing with Angelo at Barley's doing great stuff. So, there's too many to mention. We've had so much. Somebody's going to yell at me, but we've had a lot of inspiration here. There's been good beer in Columbus for a long time.
Absolutely. There's way too many to mention, and I'm gonna refrain from speaking ill of any offshore brewers that have come into Columbus. And every street that I go down now, it appears that they're opening up a bar. So I won't speak ill of them. They do have a few beers that I like, but I'm someone who always keeps my money local. Like I'm going to buy North High. I'm going to go down to Restoration and get a growler filled. I'm going to keep my money going to local breweries such as you, Tom, and
You're talking about like the brews that like open up in Kroger now.
Okay.
Okay.
I
get it.
Kroger's got an okay selection. I'm not going to I still get beer from Kroger, but I still buy like local beer. That's something for me. Like I always, I love Stone. Stone has some really good brewing. But like, am I going to buy Stone or am I going to buy Zafted? For me, like that's where I'm always going to like keep my money coming back to individuals like you who have just grinded coming up and busted their chops in order to make things happen. And I just really admire that.
And it's just better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, there's a lot to be said for drinking a product fresh.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, the civic like pride of it is
Sure.
like there, but like you're right. It's
I
just
mean,
it's the taste.
You know, a lot of times you come in here and you can drink, you know, an IPA that we kegged that morning. You know, so that actually makes a really big difference in your beer drinking experience when those aromatics are still extremely strong. You know, I mean, we're very fortunate here in Columbus. Lots of good breweries cranking out good product. You know, I mean, you can find Bodhi on the shelf that was bottled like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
right.
amazing. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that is great. Even if you don't drink at ill-mannered and you drink somewhere else, if it's local, you're going to be probably getting a pretty good beer. So,
Yeah, the local beer scene has just been awesome. And, you know, it was something I had asked Josh during our pretentious interview. I was like, oh, you know, the market being oversaturated. And he was just like, he's like, that's stupid. Like, essentially, he's like, it's
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
happen. He's like,
Yeah.
small breweries are just destroying it. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's craft beer, dude. It's doing nothing but just growing and growing and
Yeah.
growing. And from that point on, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You know, when you're inside on the industry like you or Josh or Frank, and you're seeing, you know, the numbers come across, I'm sure there's just no fear of any kind of oversaturation of the market, because I just think there's so many, you know, Columbus has such a diverse community,
Yeah.
and is so expansive in its like borders. Whereas, like, you know, you guys are the only brewery I can think of in Powell,
That's
in the
right.
Dublin area.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind setting up in Powell? What was something that really pushed you guys? Was it just happen chance, or was it something happenstance? Was it just something that kind of fell in your lap, or was it like, you know, you guys really sought after like the Powell market?
So we cast pretty wide net when we started, like the northwest quadrant, because quite frankly, it was reasonably convenient for us.
Right.
But we started looking, you know, I mean, Clintonville, Powell, Dublin, Worthington,
Right.
you know, Upper Arlington, Columbus proper, like you name it, we were looking all over the place. You know, we spent some time looking around in Hilliard and whatnot. But ultimately, we concluded that Powell was the best place for us. There were certainly locations in those other areas, but we liked that there was an emerging craft beer scene here. Daily Growler had opened up maybe 6 months before we signed the lease on this place. If you went into the bars and restaurants, you would see that they all generally had a pretty good craft beer selection. So we kind of saw it as an area that was thirsty for craft beer, but didn't have ready access to a brewery. I mean, Zaftig is close, but it's still a 20-minute drive.
Yeah, it's
But,
still-
I mean, with
Yep.
Columbus
Across
traffic
town.
and dealing with all of this,
Right.
Sawmill or 315 or something like that. And Frank had hadn't opened yet, and Stas was up the road 20 minutes. So, people don't drive 20 minutes for much these days. So
No.
we thought this was a good spot for us. We were right. Great local support here. Powell's kind of an island. When you look at 270's actually reasonably far away. People don't like dealing with Sawmill and 315 and all that stuff. And so we're very reliant on our local community.
You guys
and
are
we wouldn't
also
have it any
in.
other way.
You guys are also in like Old Powell, essentially, is what I would consider it. Because like I remember when
Sure.
Powell was absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
but like a UDF. Like I remember as a kid, coming up to like the back roads to go to the zoo, and like oh, we just drove through Powell, and
Yeah.
it was just farmland, and
So we're a quarter mile north of like downtown Powell proper,
Right,
which
right.
Is which is Liberty and Powell Road. For those of you not up this way, Powell Road's the road the zoo is on.
right.
So, I mean, if you're at the Four Corners, as they call it, where all the nice restaurants and cool bars are at, you can walk here, believe it or not. I know a lot of people think a quarter mile's a long way. It is like 7 minutes. So,
I just had a friend run an errand for me today at work, and he showed up, and he's like, "Where are you at?" It's like, "Oh, I'm clear down the road." He's like, "Oh, motherfuck. I was like, oh, I got to walk down the block. He's like, you're an asshole. He's like, I've been running you errands all day. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, but you're acting like a crybaby.
Yeah,
So just like complete your task.
Make the walk. It's 4 laps around a track.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Wait,
really
it's a quarter of a mile. It's 1 lap around a track.
Right. That's right.
Well,
4
you know,
laps is a
I
mile.
did it just last week. You know, I was had a tap room shift to work, but it was Greg and I in here. We weren't very busy, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to go grab some food at Local Roots."
Yeah.
Maybe 5 minutes to walk down there,
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes to walk back. You know, we're pretty lucky. There's lots of good restaurants around here, lots
Yes.
of places to eat, lots of places to drink.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we got a nice small tap room here. Everybody comes in, throws back a few pints.
There's only one hometown brew, bruh.
That's right. So come and get the fresh stuff. So,
Yes.
Of course, you can get the fresh stuff at half the bars in town too. So
That's right. So
We'll edit that part out.
yeah, do that, please.
You were talking that you guys are getting ready to break ground on a new facility, possibly a little bit of production beer coming out of there too, but you said mostly just first focus right now is a larger tap room to kind of serve your clientele. Where's that at, and what's kind of been going into that whole headache of a process, I'm sure.
So our focus has always been on the PAL community. And that primarily means our tap room and then our wholesale accounts, local wholesale accounts. So you're sitting in the cavernous 250 square foot tap room that we currently have.
Spacious.
Yeah, spacious, seating for 20.
It's very like Japanese type, like, yeah, close quarters.
Minimalism.
Yeah, minimalism. Yeah,
Right.
man, you got it. You got it.
They got people in the back sleeping on top of old
That's right.
kegs.
Hammocks.
Right.
It ages it better, man. It's good.
And then we have the rest of the space, which is a grand total of 1,000 square feet. It's dedicated to the brewery. We run a 3-vessel, 3-barrel brew house, electric brew house, and we have 5 fermenters, total of 21 barrels capacity. And so we make about 5 beers at a time.
So a barrel a guest.
Yeah, there you go. Only 248 beers to go. So yeah, we crank it out in here. I mean, we did just under 400 barrels last year of beer, and I think when we move, we'll obviously do a lot more. We actually have a 6th tank. We already own it. We're just waiting for the new facility to bring it in. The original plan was to bring it in here, but we're pretty close to moving now, so we decided to wait.
Remind everybody again, when's that supposed to?
We are hoping to break ground this month, pending the city of Powell, write your congressman, and assuming they approve our paperwork this week. It's been a long, arduous process. We'll break ground hopefully here in February, and then we'll be in, call it late summer, early fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
You already started telling peeps, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, we actually, you can see the renderings on the wall here. We put those up at our anniversary party.
He's like, no, wait, you guys are holding this episode until...
Yes. Yeah, right.
No, I meant patrons, dude.
So so the new facility will be 3,000 square feet. So the interior space will be 3 times the size of this one. The tap room alone will be 1,500 square feet, so 5 times larger or more. And then we'll have a little prep room for some food included in that 1,500. And then the back brewery will be another 1,500 square feet, where we will do, cold space, all the brewing, barrel aging, stuff like that. And then we'll have a patio, about 1,000 square foot patio with a drive-up food truck space.
That's
So,
great.
guys, you can technically live there for all
can.
4 seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Our rent's a little cheap or steep, so it'll be kind of expensive, but you can do it.
Yeah.
So and then hopefully we haven't confirmed this yet, but we're hoping to keep this space in addition to our 3-ish thousand over there. to do some funky
For the
barrel-aged
degenerates.
stuff.
Just the
Yeah,
degenerates.
yes,
They're like,
right.
get out. We still need some of your money, so head over to that place.
So we'll just hide over here.
Right.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. I
The
was like,
millennial version.
I was going to say, if you guys are building a new facility, I'm sure there would have to be a little bit of a heartache to kind of see this place go. You know, everything that's kind of gone into it and really kind of catapulted you into the position you guys are at in order to open up a new facility. But yeah, it's great to see that you hopefully would be able to keep this place underneath your.
Yeah, I mean, it would be tough to just walk away from it. Although, brewing in such a tight space has been very tedious for the last 2.5 years. So, we daydream a lot about the new place.
Would you?
So we'll see.
Do you think? Overall, obviously, I'm sure you know. Now, do you think? Has most of your sales come from like growler fills, or because you guys do have such a limited seating area, and especially in the season, you do have a patio here. But would you say growler fills have been?
No, pint sales are still the number one. Growlers would be number two for sure. We have a steady flow over most days. We do get full, but during the week is the best time to come. You definitely get a seat on a Wednesday or a Thursday. But we're busy. We're busy a lot of times. Sunday's actually a really nice day to come. We open at noon, so it's got a nice afternoon kind of. It's the only day we're open that early, so you can kind of come and relax, and it's not busy. It gets busier towards the end of the day, but and hopefully when we move, we're going to add some new hours and new days, and give it a little more time to come take it in. We'll have, at least as of the last time I've seen the official paperwork, we'll have a capacity for about 100 people in the new place. So
nice.
And then the patio on top of that. So
yeah, that's great. Great local spot to have a drink before you head out to a restaurant once you're in the area, and really kind of enjoy everything you guys got going on. With production, is that something that's still kind of down the line, something that you're going to be looking at more in the future with that spot? Or I know you guys have done some small production runs. I don't know if you guys are still just hand bottling.
We do limited tap room bottle releases, so that meaning that we bottle it for sale in the tap room only. And that is to give our patrons an opportunity to you have a bottled product instead of growlers, because growlers aren't the ideal way to have beer for more than a few days.
Well, it's the ideal way if you want to get drunk in one night.
Yes, it is. That's right. So
I've had more than a few nights where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to drink 3 more pints, and I'd already been drinking earlier that day. And I was like,
that's right.
Truth.
Time to knuckle up. Let's get this done.
So we will probably do more of that in the new space as we increase the size of our system. And the space is spec'd out for a much larger brewery than we currently have. Can't get a whole lot smaller than we currently have. But we'll be doing a little more, maybe getting the canning down the road, so you never know. Yeah,
canning is legit. Of course, I got some sweet-ass bottle openers right now, so now I'm like buying all bottled beer again.
Nice.
I just want to crack the thing open. I got like this little handy wooden like 6-pack I take down to Barley Hopsters and fill up. It's got a bottle opener on it, so I'm like all pumped back up on bottles. But I know when we were talking earlier before we got started in the episode, you've done some, you had said you had done one collaboration with Frank from Restoration.
Sure.
And then you had also spoken about a barley wine that you got with his collaboration with the Delaware Home Brewing.
Yeah, that's right.
Has there been any other collaborations you guys have worked on? Anybody else that you've kind of brought in-house, or you've gone over there to kind of really push something out?
Yeah, we've done a few. I mean, we did the Hefeweizen with Frank at Restoration. We've done a rye IPA with Sideswipe Brewing down in Columbus. And then Street Side Brewing in Cincinnati, we did a Saison with. And then, of course, we just did the Delaware, Ohio Homebrewers Club collaboration, barley wine. So 4 so far, and we got more in the works.
Dude, I just started brewing. I've done one extract, and I drank the first bottle last week, and it was cold and grapefruity and IPA and uncarbonated. So I moved it up into my upstairs to see if like getting it at a proper temperature would help. But I wandered into the Delaware Home Brewers meeting, and it was one of those instances where I have it all the time when we've sat down with multiple breweries now. I speak with a lot of brewers, just doing the podcast and things, and sitting down with you is much the same, where I'm like, why did I ever start brewing? Because, dude, these guys were talking about farming yeast and the pH balance of their water and the thing, and I just wanted to know how many 22-ounce bottles I needed for my 5 gallons of beer I brewed. I wanted to ask like the most basic, stupid question, and I was like, which I didn't, and I ended up leaving early. I just kind of wandered in.
You're
and
like, I'll Google it.
Right. I was like, man, the home brewing game is tough and tight, man.
Yeah, you
Dudes
gotta start
just
somewhere.
the people just know their shit. I mean, the dudes clearly were like, chemist, like like physicist. I don't know what they got going on,
I think it tends to attract people with technical backgrounds, although not exclusively. I don't have a technical background myself. But, you got to start somewhere. We all wondered how many bottles we needed to get that 50 or 5-gallon batch at some point. So.
I'm just hoping that it's carbonated now, because it's been a week up in the regular environment of winter here.
And Hawaiian Punch wasn't what you were going for.
I had popped the cap, and it had the weakest little like, tss, and I was like, uh-oh. And then I poured it, and it had no head on it. I was like, oh no. I got like 22 of these 22-ounce bottles, and I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna have to pour this all down the drain.
I mean, the first beer I ever brewed was a dumper. I mean, I didn't drink it. Greg drank it, but I didn't drink it.
See, I'm like, everyone's like, oh, it shouldn't be that bad. Or it's like, don't expect it to be good. It's your first one. And I'm thinking like, man, it's just an extract. Like, I followed the directions. Like, how bad could it be? Like, I know how to follow directions and make pizza dough. Some
of those directions are pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I've watched videos and things. It's like tough. There's not enough time in the day.
That's right.
I'm raising 2 kids. I know you said you're raising 2 kids, so it's like tough to sit down and watch. 50 hours of YouTube to figure out oh, I'm going to do this, or that's the step that I messed up, or
I mean, I must have listened to podcasts. I mean, the Brewing Network for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. It's ridiculous. I mean, shout out to the Sods guys, which is the Columbus Homebrew Club that I was a member of for years. Learned a lot down there. But yeah, you got to start somewhere. The Google machine is great as well.
Yeah.
So.
Computers. Although Apple said, like, what's a computer right now?
Right.
That's a stupid commercial.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm going to keep pushing forward. Probably this first beer will be a dumper, and then I'll start with my second one, and then maybe move into all grain. We'll see how that goes.
Well, feel free to bring me your crappy beer, and I will tell you how terrible it is.
Yes. He will take you up on that.
I don't know. I don't have probably as refined a palate as you, but I'm
He's like,
pretty
quick,
sure.
Tom, out of 4 bottle caps. What do you give it?
I'm pretty sure I got enough of a refined palate to be like, yeah, this tastes like shit.
Yeah.
You've got shit and good.
Right. Time to head back down to the store and buy something that I want to drink. Or
Right.
head down to Ill-Mannered Brewing at 30 Grace Drive in Powell, Ohio, and get a growler filled up.
There you go.
That would be the right step.
I mean,
Right.
we've had, we get frequent home brewers in here. And we've had a few guys come in who are making pretty decent beer to start with, and they come in and just ask a lot of questions. We're more than happy to help. That's where we started. And we learned a lot by having a lot of other people help us. And so we giving them pointers, a little this, that, or the other thing, bring their beer in. We'll tell them what we think's good about it, bad about it, whatnot. We're pretty honest. And, we have, one guy in particular who I'm thinking of. has won a few homebrew medals now because he's cranking out some good stuff, and he makes a very tasty cream ale. And he's thinking about quitting brewing. Gary, don't you quit?
Don't quit, Gary.
Don't quit. Never give up. Never give up. Yeah, Columbus Brew Fest just went down. Were you guys set up down there?
We were down there, yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't have an opportunity to get down there. Have you guys ventured out to many of the other like local brew fest, and I think the Cincinnati one just went down as well. Do you guys kind of?
We keep it local with the brew fest. Being as small as we are, short staffed, like we can't venture out too much. So we tend to do most of the Columbus ones. Maybe eventually we'll go outside, but we got to think about who's actually going to come to Mannered and our reach. But in general, we love doing beer festivals. They're always fun. I see a lot of brewers there. I see a lot of people we know, and a lot of fans of ours show up. And it's also a great time to showcase some of our beers. This one, we took two kind of like oddball beers. We took the Belgian Double I was drinking, and we took Dark Ego, which is our black Goza, and very odd beers to kind of find it at a beer fest, and we had an amazing time. Everybody, we ran out of beer about halfway through.
Oh, that's great.
So, it worked out really well, and people loved the beer. A lot of good feedback, and some of those people will show up in the tap room and hopefully get some more.
What are your thoughts right now? It seems like that hazy IPA game, and that's what Participation Trophy was. It just seems like that hazy IPA is
the rage.
Yeah, it's like
it definitely is. When done right, they're outstanding. Creamy mouthfeel, kind of that medium full body. The aromatics are insane.
Buzzword, crushable.
I guess everybody. I don't know about crushable. Ours is 7.3%. Nothing that's 7.3% is crushable.
I don't know, man. I bottomed that one out pretty quick.
That's right.
And,
we need to go refill here.
Yeah, Flat Black was super delicious. First one outside of Mannered.
Nice.
To touch that stuff, and it's delicious.
But I do really enjoy the New England. At first I was skeptical. I will wholeheartedly admit that, and I resisted the urge to to jump on the bandwagon and brew them. But,
right.
But
is it a more difficult process to brew something like that?
I think I don't want to say difficult. I think that it's unique. The yeast strain you use behaves very differently than the ones we're used to using, than our house strains. Some of the process steps are different. You start dry hopping considerably earlier than you normally would, and I'll get a little half-ass sciencey with you.
Yeah, let's hear it.
But you start dry hopping it like 2 days, and the yeast interacts with the hops in a process called biotransformation. Google that. There's an article written on it you can read. And it creates a ton of the fruity flavors. And then we dry hop it again for an insane 5 pounds per barrel hopping rate in this beer. And then, you carbonate that thing up. Low carbonation is to style for those beers.
Low carb.
Is that what I can? So could I just call my grapefruit?
Yes.
This is a no carbonation
That's
IPA.
right.
Zero carbs.
and then contrary to the IPA, they're actually reasonably low bitterness. Although I will say Participation Trophy is kind of a moderate bitterness. But they seem to keep pushing the level almost lower and lower and lower in IBUs to the point to where there are people claiming no IBUs. I haven't had any of those beers myself, so I can't comment. But it's a cool style. Anytime we get to make something new, try a new yeast, try new hops, new process, even as small as we are, it can get kind of like executional or monotonous in here where you're making the same beers. We make 50 different beers, so it's not like we're making the same beers all the time, but the process is often very similar from beer to beer to beer. And the New England's a different process, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it, man. I've been enjoying them. It seems like it'd be a great summer beer. Some of the local spots where people could find you in the Columbus area, I think you had mentioned Daily Growler earlier. I
Sure,
don't know
yep.
if you're on tap over there. Where'd be a good place for anybody to head out if they can't make it to the tap room to kind of get their hands on some ill-mannered?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I would definitely hit the Daily Growler locations. We're on there off and on. Locally, I mean, definitely Local Roots, Liberty Tavern, Craft House Number 5, all down here on the Four Corners. They have better hours than we do, so you can get our beer. So Mondays we're closed. Go there. So yeah, I mean, Prohibition carries us as well. Cloud9. But that's a lot of the Powell places. So, but if you're not up here in Powell, you can find us, of course, at Barley Hopsters in Delaware. I actually think Audible Grown, the Delaware, Ohio homebrewers barley wine, is going to be tapped there. Either it is on tap or it will be very shortly.
Sweet.
Downtown, you can usually find us in the North Market at Barrel and Bottle, Brewcadia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ohio Tap Room carries us off and on as well. So all over the place. Email us if you want a full list.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great to think that just in 2.5 short or long years, I don't know, you'd be, the one to really to define that.
2.5 fun years,
Yeah, to see man, it just seems like you guys have grown tremendously and are continuing to just really push forward, which is exciting.
Yeah, opening up a new building.
Right,
in
right,
2.5
right,
years.
right. That's
Wish I did anything for 2.5 years.
Right.
Except this podcast.
Right.
This podcast, if we'll be doing this for more than 2.5 years.
In PAL, nonetheless. I mean, in PAL,
There you go.
nonetheless.
Right.
That's incredible. But you're right. I think you got a perfect market here. So, man, dude, thank you for sitting down with us.
No
This has
problem.
been
Absolutely,
super
man.
fun.
Thank
We're going
you.
to have to cash out this episode and have one more pint with you before we head out. But
We can do that.
we want to urge everybody to check out Ill-Mannered Brewing. Head out to 30 Grace Drive in Powell, Ohio, and get a growler filled, grab a couple of pints, and look forward to their new location opening up here this summer. You can find them at Ill-Mannered Brew,
illmanneredbeer.com.
illmanneredbeer.com, and Ill-Mannered Beer. Sorry.
Itch.
Yeah. Man, I got to get used to, here's the thing, I got to get used to the video because it's really easy to edit those things out and make the episode sound really, really good, but the video is going to be a lot harder to edit out.
No nose picking.
Right, which I've been pretty good, but I think Marcus picked his butt a few times.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well, I got the sweat off my brow, too. Wear makeup next time.
Yeah, that's right. These lights are
Get
hot. These lights are hot. Yeah, you can
Nice.
find them anywhere at Ill-Mannered Beer on social media, and we'd like to urge each and every one of you to check us out at heroesbythepint.com. You can also find us anywhere at Heroes by the Pint on any social media format. Follow us on Untapped, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and anywhere we're out there.